Hi, this is Karen Sullivan with some basic information about special education. Like everything else in education, special education has a lot of acronyms. Each exceptionality has an acronym, like LD and OHI, and almost every form and procedure has an acronym too. I'm not going to take time to go over every single one found in the acronym soup, but here are 4 important acronyms to know. IDEA is the 1975 legislation that eventually came to be known as the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. This law makes available a free, appropriate public education, or FAPE, to students who are eligible for special education services. This must be done in the least restrictive environment, or LRE, that's possible to be able to provide an appropriate education. And this isn't going to be the same for every student. So the appropriate placement and services must be individualized to meet a student's needs. The IEP, or Individualized Education Program, is the legal document that includes the student's present level of performance, IEP goals, special education services, and accommodations and modifications. It is important for teachers to be aware of and follow the IEP. So the IEP is the legal document, but if you're like me, when you hear IEP, you also think of the meetings. There are different types of IEP meetings. An initial evaluation is completed when first determining whether or not a student qualifies for special education services. If the student qualifies, an IEP is written. After that initial IEP meeting, the team meets annually to review the IEP at an annual IEP meeting. Then every 3 years, there is a reevaluation to see if the student continues to qualify for services. At each meeting, there are required team members. The IEP team consists of a school representative or administrator, a special education teacher, at least one regular education teacher, parents, and any other people who work with or provide services to the student, or who are there to interpret data. Thank you, thank you, thank you to every teacher who attends meetings. Not only is it a legal requirement to have a regular education teacher at IEP meetings, but it is also extremely helpful to have teacher input when making team decisions. If a teacher is not able to attend the meeting, they can still provide input to be shared with the team at the meeting. With all of this, communication is important. In order for teachers to be able to provide accommodations and follow the IEP, they need to know which students are on an IEP, and they need to know what is on the IEP. One way this information is communicated is with the student snapshot, or passport. The snapshot has information about the student's IEP goals, accommodations and modifications, and any relevant additional information. Each teacher should be given a snapshot by the student's case manager. Communications with paras is also important. Paras play a critical role in supporting students in the classroom, and paras also need to know which students in class are on IEPs. If teachers can give paras a class roster at the beginning of each semester, the paras can use this to identify which students are on IEPs and to pull copies of their snapshots from C204. Also, if a new student moves into the class during the semester, paras should be made aware so they can check if that student is on an IEP. It is also important for classroom teachers and paras to communicate with each other. This can be difficult when there's so much going on in a class, but when possible, teachers should provide paras with feedback to help them effectively support students and assist in the class. It is helpful for classroom teachers to let paras know what the expectations are for them in the class and to discuss any concerns with them. Hopefully this feedback and communication is happening regularly during the school year. Once a year, paras will also be provided formal feedback as part of their evaluation. And communication with case managers is also important. Each student's case manager should be listed at the top of the snapshot. Another way to find out who the case manager is for a student is by looking at Infinite Campus. And I was going to try to include a picture of this process, but I couldn't figure out a good way to do it without breaking confidentiality. So I'm going to try to explain how to do it instead. If you search for and select a student, click on the Summary tab at the top of the student page on Infinite Campus. Once you're on the Student Summary page, scroll down to where it says Comments. If the student is on an IEP, there should be a comment with the case manager's name written with asterisks. If you have any questions, let me know and I can show you how to do it. And that's the end. If you have any questions or suggestions, please let me know. Thanks.